Okay, the map function produces a new array of values by mapping each value in list through a transformation function. It's called iterate or something like this. So this function is the function is passed three arguments. So they internally they will give your function three arguments: the value, the first one, the index or key, so you can map objects, and the last one is the list itself. So for example, in these examples, we have this list and they just multiply each number by 3. This is the output. And here we have an object which they, for each value they multiply by 3. So you have 3, 6, 9 and as an array. But since they pass you the key, you can reproduce the same object, but it will be an array of objects. So the first one will be 1 equal to 3, and the second element in the array will be another object 2 equal to 6. The third one will be also another object, the key is 3 and the value is 9. So this is something to note, to remember. And the first one is like a matrix, and they are getting the first element from each row. Using this first, we won't use this, we didn't reach it yet, but I will just run their examples, or at least I will just put them here as a reference. Maybe after the video I can just show you an example of what I was talking about in this example here. So require map from underscore, and what I will do, so const p will equal to map an object, so 1, 2, 3 will be value of 3. The function will be just the number, so each time they will pass you 1, 2, 3 as an integer. The second argument is the key, which is 1 as a string, 2 as a string, 3 as a string. And I will just, for now, just return num times 3 and console log p. So node map, we have 2, 4, 6. Okay, I timed it by times 2, but it's 3. Okay, so 3, 6, 9. But what if you rebuild the object? So key will be to key, so I won't need to type it again. And num will be equal to num times 3. And of course, wrap it in parentheses. So this will give us an array. Each array contains an object. So key is 1 and number is 3. We can fix this by, I think, can do this. So this is the key and it will be equal to num times 3. So this is it. Maybe using another function we will meet at the future, we can fix this to return it to a single object. But for now I'll show you a way that I will write our map function to fix this. So I'll write two functions, and let me write also the rest of the examples, since I will just compare. So the first one is const air. I can just copy paste them. So the third one is this. B and C. So I want to include the first, but I will show you a way we can do this. So in the callback function, just destruct the first element in each array, name it f, for example, and just return f. Oops, this is not underscore map. So node map, we see the same result in the third one and the second, in the third one and the first one, same as these. Okay, now we can start writing our function. but let me just copy this console log just as a separator here. Okay, so const map to equal to a function. The first argument is the object. It could be an array or a normal object, the function, the callable function, and the context. So context. What I will do, I will just loop through the object using for m. So if it was an array, the key will be the index. If it was an object, the key will be the key in that iteration. And for each iteration, I will just pass it to the callback function you provided, this one, and I will just push it inside a result array. So const, as simple as that, holder. Now for n, I will use for n. So for each key in our object, just holder dot push, and so fun the value. Now we need to get the value, so object, and this is how we get the value, then key, then the object itself. But remember, we need to, if the user passed the context, we need to apply it or bind it. So if context just use call and pass the context as the first argument, it'll just call it normally, and after all of this just return holder. So this should work, and I can show it to you. So this is version 1, and what I'll do, I'll just copy these things here. This is repetitive, but it's just to prove my points. So A1, B2, C3, and also change them here. So let me run. Oops, let me use map2 now. So we have the same exact result. And if we don't build an object here, just return this num times 3. Like this. We also have the same result as this example here. Okay, this is nice, but does it work on an array of objects? I can show you an example for that. So, and this is C2, sorry, or B1. It doesn't matter, but yeah. So const B1, D1, sorry, would be equal to map to, pass it an array of objects. So name, here what, score would be 10. So I'll just copy paste this a couple of times. The score here is 20, the score is 30. So Sarah, robots. So, and I need to map this, and at the same time, just for retain the same array but mapped. So it will retain an array of objects, but the score I will multiply it by, or square it. I won't multiply it, I will just square the score, and I need to retain this array of objects itself. So we can do this with the same function we built. So this is our callback function. So I'll just return empty object for now. So the first argument there is the value for each iteration, and since we are using for an object and our object is an array, so the key for each iteration is the index. So our object of index 0 will give us this object, and then index 1, index 2. So each iteration will be, the function will pass to us our object, so, or the object in this iteration, sorry, or this iteration, like this. So we can just destruct the name and the score, and the second argument would be, I want to use it, but so I will just show it to you, the index, which, since this is an array, will be 0, 1, 2. If this was a normal object, it will be the key for that iteration, Just remember this, and this is the whole array, the third argument. And I can just build the object again. So name will be mapped to name, and the score will be mapped to score. I will square it. Then console log d1, sorry. Let me just think this should be here, and this should be here. Anyway, now node map. Why does it look 2 times this? Okay, sorry, my bad. Yeah. So I'll remove this, and that's it. So node map. So this is the first result, but now our array of objects, this is the same array, but the score is mapped, which is nice. But just to go back to this point where this map function returned us this array of object, which is, I think, it's not that useful. We can fix this by creating a third map function, which is very similar to this map. So just copy this and put it here. Get this console log version 2. Okay, so this function, which I will name it map3, will behave almost the same, but we won't define a new variable. And I will just loop through the object, and for each key I will just replace it. So object, for each value for that key I'll just replace it with the return value from your callback function, and I'll just return the object. So I'll just copy paste 2 examples. This one, but we won't use it the same exact way, and I will copy this example as well. So B3 and D3, it will use map3 and map3, and here I won't return an object. I can just return num times 3. So what this will do for each value, so this is the value here, it will just reassign it to the same object in the same key, as you can see here. So for the key 1, the value will be the num times 3, and you can also have the key here, since I am passing it to you. So let me just console log b3 and d3. So, and this, by the way, will still behave the same. It will maps the whole array, the array in place. So I won't create a new array like this example. So yeah, I will modify the array in place here. So let me run it, clear and done. So as you can see, where is it? Yes. So let me just console put a new line. I can't put it in a string, the /n, but yeah. So this is our first example. So as you can see, the values in the object are mapped themselves, not returned as something like this or something like this. Not an array of objects, just the object itself. And now the same example here still works as well, if you think about it, because I'm just modifying the array in place for each time. So that's basically it. There's a code for this if you want to take a look at it in the description. There's a link there. And yeah, that's it.